He is my favourite manager to have managed Chelsea since Mourinho 04-05. Like, everything about this man, I would have gone to war for this man.
Right, Joe, time to turn our attention to managers.
Yes.
It's been a bit of a turbulent time, hasn't it, for some Premier League gaffers? Obviously, we had the news that Thomas Frank lost his job last week, Ruben Amorim not so long ago as well. So it gave us a little thought specifically about top 6 managers in recent years.
Yeah, been loads of turnover again this season amongst big 6 managers. So today we're going to be looking back from 2020 to the modern day at every manager that's been hired by a big 6 club and has managed over 10 games in that role. It gives us a list of 18 names, and we're going to see how well those appointments have gone. Have they been a success or not? We've got the whiteboard out, A to E. Ollie, you're in charge of the magnets here. We're going to go from 2020 onwards, so we'll start in chronological order with managers that were there right at the beginning. Klopp and Pep.
Let's get these two out.
Come on. Yeah, don't even talk about much, do we?
Obviously,
Yeah.
Well, Pep probably
slightly above.
best ever.
Yeah. If there was an A+ category, I think we would have Pep in there, right?
If we had to have just one in there, it would be Pep just for you.
And Klopp's so underrated, I think, as a manager overall.
Do you think?
Yeah. I think in any other era, without Pep, he wins, 3 Premier Leagues, probably.
Yeah.
Such good football along the way. I'm such a big Klopp fan.
Yeah, 6 major trophies from Jurgen Klopp, 10 from Pep Guardiola. Worth pointing out, actually, only 8 of these managers have won major silverware, which we'll come on to. And, of course, you've got to agree on where you place them. So the first 2 quite easy. We'll come on next to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United.
I think as time has gone on, it has favoured Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's time in charge of Manchester United.
Definitely.
He was probably the first manager post Fergie to really give some sort of stability at that club, bring some sort of happiness back to United fans, and finish second place in the Premier League as well. If whatever happens to Manchester City's stuff, they might get asterisk title next to their name, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might be over the moon. So I actually think time does look at him a little bit better. I would be closer towards C-B category, because also the end of that time at Manchester United wasn't nice. It wasn't fantastic. And I'd also say there's an argument to say that Manchester United weren't playing all the time like fantastic football, which United fans do care about as well. But I do think time has maybe helped him on how we looked at him during the time.
Didn't he get over the line for a trophy, though?
No, he didn't. So I don't think he'd be going towards A at all. I think you have to have won a trophy to be getting into A.
Where would you put that?
So B, C.
I put him B.
B?
I was a big fan of Ollie. Just like good vibes, good football. It's difficult to gauge. It'd be interesting the rest of the list, actually, because no one really comes close to Pep or Klopp.
Yeah, it's hard for anyone else to get an A, isn't it?
What is B? Like,
there should be
You can adapt as you go, because remember there are managers in there that have won trophies. I think haven't won the scale of trophies.
We'll give you the deciding vote. So I think B.
I'm going to go C for now. I do think.
You can always move it.
I do think the point about style player is important, which we'll come back to.
So Frank Lampard's permanent manager at Chelsea. Should we come to Zac first as the Chelsea fan?
Come on, mate.
I've always been somebody that's more positive about Frank's first tenure in charge of Chelsea. Going into it, if we remember that he had a transfer ban, he was somebody that brought through the youth product of Cobham, of Tammy Abraham, Tomori, Mason Mount. The list continues. Conor Gallagher eventually as well. He did really good things. It got us into that Champions League place where nobody expected it. Plus, keep in mind as well, he lost crucial players like previous in terms of Eden Hazard going, who was so crucial to us, and he had to adapt to that. And so for him to have got that Chelsea side back into the Champions League, establish a lot of Cobham prospects as really good Premier League players and internationals as well for their country. I look at him, I think he did a really, really good thing. What I would say is towards the end of his tenure, it got sour very quickly in a month. We were top of the league, and then we lost either or drew, was it to Leeds or just after the Leeds game? And within a month, it got sacked.
Feels like that happened with a lot of Chelsea managers.
It does, yeah, weird that. Very, very
I know
weird.
we're ranking the managers, but there's a conversation.
But I would personally, and I will admit there is the bias here to have him within this C category, CB time for me. And I do think, we forget he was a very young manager jumping into a very, very hard job, and I think did a good job at it.
Okay.
I think C's a good shout.
Yeah.
Again, I kind of view him similarly to Solskjaer in that he was maybe given a difficult hand, but a bit of a vibesman. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I think it's fair to have them next to each other.
It's interesting to see where he goes as well now. Like he's doing so well with Coventry, and what the future might be for him.
Yeah, big win on Monday, wasn't it?
Mikel.
For Frank Lampard's club. The only team that haven't changed their manager in this time, Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, where do you place him?
I think he is nailed on B for this. He's definitely a tier above Ollie and Frank. I think if he was to win the Premier League this season, then he'd be flirting with A, but he's done such a good job. He has done a good job. I know he's not had the trophies to reflect it necessarily, apart from an FA Cup, but you compare Arsenal to from when he took over to now, like it's chalk and cheese.
Community Shield, man.
Where would you have him, Alex?
No, B. You can't put him in A. He has to go in B. I think the transformation job he's done is amazing, but until he wins something, he's got to go in B. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an
So
interesting
Jose
one.
Mourinho, we're talking about his time at Spurs.
Well, I mean,
Got him to a final.
yeah,
Did get them to a final. And worth pointing out, obviously, he
manage
went
it, though.
the week of the
Yeah.
final. Obviously, Spurs had Ryan Mason for that game, which was defeat against Man City 1-0. But he did go on the Monday, I think it was, and the game was on the weekend.
I think also the context of when he joined was just after Poch, wasn't it? And it was kind of like, right, let's get over the line now. Let's go and, win a big trophy. And would it be fair to say Spurs got worse when Mourinho came in? I think he finished 5th or 6th that year. I mean, you can't go higher. For his time at Spurs, to be clear, I'm tempted to go
Yeah.
D.
I think.
Is that harsh?
It feels mad.
It's the first club he didn't win a trophy at since 2002.
He always refers to it as half, doesn't he? When he does his trophies and a half because he didn't manage the cup final. But
Yeah.
classic Jose style. But
That is such a good cop out.
D. But you're going with him in D. And now we move on to
Tommy
Thomas
T.
Get him in A.
Tuchel.
Get him in A, baby.
Get him in the Champions League.
I love
Hang on,
that.
hang on.
Major trophy.
Yes, but like
Champions League.
He has won the Champions League, and I do think this comes into this. And he won the Champions League when nobody expected it. Let's be honest, guys. Everybody thought
Against
Chelsea
Pep
wouldn't
City.
get to that. Exactly. He is my favourite manager to have managed Chelsea since Mourinho 04-05. Like everything about this man, I would have gone to war for this man. Like but he did. He brought
Strong.
Chelsea fans loved him. And again, it's another aspect of within a month it changed and he'd lost his job. And there were times definitely that the football got a little bit turgid, especially in that first season under the new ownership where he was only in charge for a month. And it's so funny how football can switch so quickly. We have won the Champions League, signed Romelu Lukaku, played Arsenal at the Emirates, beat them at the Emirates. And I remember thinking, oh my God,
Chelsea
this
was
is
so good.
this
Pablo
is a super
Mari.
team. We're going to go on to
What
it.
a day.
And very quickly after that, it went downhill. I think we finished.
Where would
third.
you weren't so set
Do
on
you know
A.
what? You've slightly convinced me. My only thing is, like, when I was doing prep for this, I was looking at win rates. His win rate wasn't actually that high, but he won 3 trophies, so who cares?
55%. It's actually the fourth best of any manager in this 8.
Yeah, 55.6%.
But compared to your historical managers,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not one of your best necessarily.
And when he wins the World Cup later this season as well, we've got before.
Come on, Tommy.
So we go in A? One that he did win the Champions League. You can't.
I think
major
A have to be winning trophies to get there.
Okay,
Looks a
no.
bit wrong though, having
does
next
look-
to Pep.
Just think about when he watches this show. You put him in B.
He's morning, Thomas.
You can have a bit
Bruno.
of separation
Yeah.
there, but nothing too crazy. Okay, next up.
Do that.
Nuno.
Nuno was the manager of of Spurs for my favourite ever Palace game at Selhurst Park when we won 3-0, Vieira's first win. So it's got to go in A, I think. For that. No, that was. I remember. Did you win? Spurs won first 4 games.
He did.
He won Man of the Month.
Nuno was manager of the month, the first month in charge of Tottenham.
If you
Wow.
can't last though more than 2 months in a job,
I
you
mean-
probably have to go in E, don't you?
Yeah.
Really, ultimately, there's,
It went
there's a couple of managers that will go into that category.
Okay. I think we can be
I
pretty
think we
quick
can
with
go.
it.
Yeah, so just to clarify, that is referring to his time at Spurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was about Forest, my
Yeah,
God.
done a great job.
We can be quick with this one as well, can't we?
Ralf
My
Rangnick.
word.
I mean, that was.
But do you not find it interesting that everything he said was right? And
He was
to that,
just stating the obvious.
no, but no one was willing to accept it at Manchester United at the time. And again, we are still, how many years was it since Ralf Rangnick was in charge? And the same problems were there. To that degree, I almost want to give him a bit more credit for that he said about these problems. And he was saying, I can't fix these unless Manchester United help me.
2021-22 it was, in answer to your question.
Those were when he said the problems, and we are literally still in the exact same scenario at Manchester United. Where I feel like to that degree, I kind of want to give him a bit of credit.
I think
Do it, yeah.
Ollie just completely disregarded what you said there. He didn't listen to a word of it.
He was so bad.
He was so
bad.
Conte. Interesting one, this one, Spurs.
Again, I think he did get top 4 with
Did get
Spurs.
Champions League.
He got Champions League.
Did get
Yeah.
Champions League at Spurs and then had the
Decent win rate as well.
Yeah.
It's
57%.
Spurs fans hated his
57%
football, though.
win rate. And was in the Champions League, but obviously then it
ended so
ended
badly.
as it ended,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of similar to Mourinho. You kind of forget the good things because it blew up in such a dramatic way. He's probably better than Mourinho.
I think it would go into maybe the C category.
Yeah.
Like, I think the football was really bad and Spurs fans didn't enjoy that. But in terms of results and in terms of getting them back, getting into the Champions League, it definitely does play a huge
Are there
part.
Spurs fans who look back on him sort of quite favourably because of what he said at the end, as in a kind of sticking it to the man type thing?
The Ralf Rangnick
Yeah, the kind of Ralf.
You're comparing it to what the Rangnick terms.
Do they feel that, do you know?
I think that with Conte, he would look at it and go, his objective on that season was to get Champions League football. So he'd probably look at that personally and go, he's achieved that objective. Stylisation, though, is a big point. And a big thing with Tottenham fans, if you look at the managers that have been favourably received by the fans, it's the Harry Redknapps, the Pochettinos, because of the expansive style they're playing. Even the early days of Ange, when we were playing that attacking football, Spurs fans do like that. So style does come into it. I think it's a good point. But
where would you have him? As Spurs
It's
fan?
like CD for me.
Probably, yeah, I'd probably agree.
Above
Probably
Jose?
having a C.
Yeah, I think that's fair. This is
Next
quite an
up.
interesting one, actually.
Erik ten Hag is an interesting one because look at 51% win rate. A lot of media and outside noise about Ten Hag. Obviously spent money, but did win 2 major trophies, Joe, as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got
Stumbled across the
Ollie, if you've got Ollie in C,
Yeah, I think he's got to go.
Do you have him in C?
I think it's
Yeah.
got to be
He
in a similar
can't be,
level,
yeah.
given that he won 2 major trophies.
Yeah. I think it's quite as simple as that. Like, look, the end was bad again, and the football at times was not fantastic. But ultimately, in football, as fans and as players, your ultimate goal is to be winning silverware. It's the ultimate goal, whether it be the FA Cup, the Champions League, Premier League. And I think sometimes we actually are a little bit disrespectful to domestic cup competitions, whether it be the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup.
Beating City in the FA Cup final with 2
I
academy
think it has to
graduates
be.
scoring
I think it
goals.
has to probably be a C.
Could you argue B, do you think? I think C, but could you
We
think
can't
there's
put
an
Erik ten
argument for
Hag
B?
in B.
I think he's one of those managers. I feel like a lot of the minute, sometimes the way you walk in the room, the way you communicate, it's so. And I feel like if he communicated a bit better,
Yeah.
he'd probably be considered in a different bracket.
Yeah. I think it's got to be C. We can't be putting him next to Mikel Arteta, guys.
You put him in C then?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to
Close.
Zach with the next one because it's Chelsea. Graham Potter.
The idea of Graham Potter before Graham Potter joining was nice. I think he was one of those managers, a little bit like Thomas Frank actually, who we'll get onto later, that everyone thought he could make that step up. He's got the ability to be a really good manager. I think we also love the idea that there'll be an English manager who can do it at one of these top clubs and be successful. Unfortunately, that wasn't Graham Potter. His time at Chelsea, it's got to go into E, to be honest. Like, there's an argument for D, but I'm not really going to waste my time.
Back to a lot of these managers seem to fall out with Granavskaya and then Burley, and then there's a lot of sort of...
well, not Potter, to be honest. Potter, if anything, lasted so... I remember Potter losing 1-0 at home to Southampton and thinking, if he survives this, he'll never leave.
Yeah.
We were
Never leave.
awful, absolutely awful. And eventually they do get rid of him for an interim.
Even with the suit.
Frank's return, though.
This was
I
terrible.
want to be honest here. Frank's return, of course, it wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. I think it was one game
One
that
win
he won
in 9
in
Premier
his
League
tenure.
games.
What I will say is he was dealing with the issues of the manager we've put into E here, and there were so many other issues in terms
of course.
the squad,
Other factors,
the fans, all of that stuff. And he himself has come out afterwards to say, I probably shouldn't have done it, and that it wasn't a good environment to be in. I would, and for that reason, because of how good I think he'd done previously, and I do think that there were a lot of outlying factors, I'd actually be willing to try and say D here.
I think I'd agree with that. It's largely forgotten, which I think is a good thing. Like, people don't forget the manager at the bottom because it was so bad. But Frank, there's so many extenuating circumstances. I don't think it changed his managerial
I'd be more.
He
I'd be
won
more
one
keen to not
game in 11.
I'd be more keen to just not put him on the board.
But
Yeah,
there's,
it was like an
there's,
NA.
ex-
I don't
there's,
think
there's
over here.
extenuating circumstances down here. Do you know what I mean?
I guess if Rangnick's down there, you should put Frank.
There is extenuating circumstances with all these guys.
And also, let's not forget that his
managed 11
his
games.
permanent role.
He
we've
is in
given him
there.
a
Like,
high
it's
rank
not
C.
I think he has to go.
I
think he has to go.
We'll go.
I just have
Okay,
to.
put it in
You
here.
can't win
Let's go,
1
Sid.
in 11. And
That is
go
the
above.
caretaker of the interim role. We have ranked his permanent one higher earlier, and he's doing a good job at Cov right
Ange,
now as well.
big.
Ange, interesting one. Obviously, you've got 17th in the league, but you have got Europa League win.
What a
And
man.
I'll re-emphasise as well, only 8 of these managers have won any silverware, and it's a massive trophy, that.
I don't think he can go below C.
Yeah,
I really
agreed,
don't.
agreed,
Like, it was obviously the league form wasn't great, but he was clearly prioritising the Europa League, and he got over the line, which is one of the most historic games in Spurs history. Obviously, the league form is a bit of a bit tainted.
Lost
a little
22
bit, you could say.
games.
I mean, Spurs away last season was one of the worst teams I think I've
Where
ever
would you
seen
have
Palace
him,
play.
Smith?
I would say it's probably C as well,
Yeah.
just because it's a
trophy,
massive. I mean, I was in
absolutely.
Bilbao. It's a massive. I mean, obviously Europa League. You wouldn't know about that.
I
Alex,
wouldn't know
but,
about that.
Being there to
Think
see
about
a
the Champions
team
League,
win
yeah, fair.
a major European trophy is a huge moment. You would admit.
I'll move past that. What did you make of the interview you did the other day? Because I understand what he was saying, but
There's
the
lots to dissect
lack of
from that.
accountability for losing
But you would fight for
22 games.
You would fight for him. My goodness.
Talk about communication.
Oh, my
Great
goodness.
communicator.
You're going with C?
Just who we are, man.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Just who we
Next
are.
up.
It's another interesting one, Poch.
Chelsea.
I don't look at Poch's time at Chelsea maybe as favourable as others do. I think if you're actually a fan, if you're a non-Chelsea fan, you look at Poch's time as not too bad.
Yeah.
Got Chelsea into, it should have been the Europa League, but then because of what happened, it was the Conference League.
Ended well, didn't it?
It ended well, but my goodness, when we lost 5-0 at the Emirates, I remember thinking, I can't do this.
That was one of my favourite
Did he not
days.
start towards the end though? Was he not
The last
starting
month.
to turn it around?
The last month Premier League
look
football.
back on Poch at Chelsea was the last period was when, just before he left was when it was starting to show real signs.
And it was that last month. And also, like, I think without Poch, we might not have the Palmer that we have as well. Like, he had a lot of credit to him there. I would be saying D.
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
fair. Yeah.
Cool.
D.
Arna's.
Get him an A, surely.
Hey.
He's won the Premier League, lads.
Yeah.
You'd have him alongside
So
Pep.
I think he's won the Premier League.
That's
what I know.
Can I say, I think he is disrespected. I will say that. But equally, the form that Salah was in, and then when he got to put his stamp on the team, what's happened? You can't just go, definite. He's won the Premier League. There is an argument.
But he's won the Premier League.
In his first season as well.
I agree with everything that, like, there's a lot of Jurgen Klopp's DNA in that team that he very much kind of had. And Mo Salah, that was frighteningly good. But winning the Premier League is not easy.
No, it's not. But when you have a player in
Mikel
that
Arteta's been doing it for 5-6 years now.
Ollie, casting vote, where are you sticking him?
I'm going B.
Okay.
If you've got Ronaldo
Go
7-8.
So we've got the last Maresca. Zach, let's come to you on Enzo. I think you're a big fan. You sat in this chair.
I was, and I am still,
fan.
and I think he's going to go on to have a good career. I think it's probably got to be a C, in total honesty. He has won silverware. It was the Conference League, the Club World Cup as well. That will go on to be a huge trophy. But in all honesty, like, if in the B category is Arne Slot, who's won the Premier League, and Arteta's
C
got
for
very
you.
good. I think it's maybe C plus.
And that leaves us with the last two, which is Ruben Amorim and Thomas
In
Frank,
this
the two
moment?
that have lost their jobs recently.
Is it not an E? Surely.
Okay.
E seems.
E feels
it feels
harsh.
I think.
What?
Maybe E.
Hang on.
Guys,
Hang on, let me look at
if it
the
wasn't for Spurs last
Let me look at the
season, he could have been having a lot more worse chats around being
That's true.
relegation.
Maybe he isn't harsh.
I think he has to be E, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Talking of
Okay.
E.
But he,
Been
again,
overruled.
communication
And lastly,
facts.
Thomas-
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't go anything above E, can you, for Thomas?
But would you have him at Palace?
Oh, in a heartbeat. But it's different.
Yeah,
It's
I
different
agree,
horses
it's
for different
different,
causes.
yeah.
I think he would be he's a
think he'd be-
great mid-table manager.
I think he'd be good for Palace.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Yeah, worth pointing out. Did a great job at Brentford, but that is covering his time at Spurs. There it is.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a bit of a debate about it online. Arne Slot definitely throwing up some interesting narratives, given that he has won a Premier League title. Tuchel's obviously won a Champions League, but they're not in the same category. But we can have a look at the board just as one final reminder.